Welcome back, beautiful people of pickleball. It has been way too long. I feel like I hadn't seen you in forever, Christy.
It's been a month.
I know,
Where
right?
you been?
I've been here, there, and everywhere, but mostly calling you saying, hey, are you around? 'Cause
Right.
you've been everywhere.
We've been everywhere. We both have. That's the life of a Northern Virginia pickleballer, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're back. We're going to talk a little MLP. Christy and I have been watching all weekend. Absolutely loving it. I mean,
Yes.
It's been so exciting and fun.
Yes.
And it really brings the question to mind, is PPA or MLP the more fun format to watch at this point? I know I have my opinion, but I'm kind of interested to find out from you.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it more entertaining to watch MLP?
MLP all day long.
Yeah.
Yes. More entertaining. I think there's more smack talk. You see more hand gestures across the net. You see people getting into it. You see the crowds coming together louder than they are in other circumstances. I was hearing the commentators say that there was some bus of college kids that came in.
DC.
That was DC.
So
okay.
I know Josh Gartman told me that they were going to bus in. They did last year as well in Atlanta. They bussed in a bunch of college kids to root for the DC team. They did it again, and you can hear them yelling.
It's
Although
awesome.
I don't think they were as drunk this time around. They were a little more calm than last year.
Gotta love it. Yeah. I think the other great thing about MLP is that it's few and far between. I mean, our tournament schedule is getting crowded, meaning there's PPAs and APPs almost every single weekend. So there's always pro pickleball to watch. It's maybe almost too much. I imagine for the players, it's got to be too much because they don't have an off season. That for me, MLP is special because it doesn't come around that often. I was looking forward to this for months and I was so excited it was finally here. So I think that kind of gives me more excitement for it too.
Well, I was also looking forward to it. I wanted to see how my predictions looked for early season. And I think we hit on some, and I definitely think we missed on others from this weekend. The really interesting thing to me about MLP is the partnerships and the variety of partnerships that we're getting. You're getting to see tons of different looks, like Hayden Patriquin playing with Gabe Tardio. And
it's so good, guys.
They're lights out. I mean, these young kids are ripping through some of the top guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hope to see that as a PPA partnership moving forward. And
I agree.
Hopefully these things will open other players' minds to playing with different people and different looks. And then also solidifying that I'll never play with that person, because there's definitely some of those.
Yes, I guess there are.
As well. So they're like, damn, did we draft poorly? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's interesting because with this MLP season, 3 of the 4 players will continue on likely after the year. And one of them has the potential to get dropped. Actually, I think it's have to drop
one.
So I'm already starting to see, okay, you're the one that's going to go. And then there's other teams where I'm like, how do you choose? Like all 4 of them just came off a stellar weekend. And granted, we're 1 event into 8 of the year. So I know it's too early to do or say anything, of what's going to come, but it was just interesting to have that initial look.
Yeah, no, it was really fun to watch. The other thing that it really solidified it, I've been on the rally scoring bandwagon for a while. I think it's a great way for pickleball to be viewed by the masses. Yeah. And the rally scoring going to 25 with no freeze this time was awesome, because it created such tension through all of the points. And I would say anything from 15 on got really tight, and you could tell that the players just were trying to make balls.
Yes. I think that the points got longer. I think there was a little bit more conservative play the longer it went on. Here's the thing I don't like about it though. If there was a gap of 24 to 18 or 24 to 19, for me, that's almost impossible. I don't think I saw anybody come back and win from that kind of deficit.
Correct.
Because you have to make 8 consecutive plays to be able to get there. So that for me actually took away from it a little bit, because from the previous seasons when there was a freeze, there were so many times it got to 18 points, 20 points, and we have that freeze, and then the other team was able to battle back. And that was like, oh my gosh, we don't know who's going to win. Now, when everybody steps on the court in this instance, we know that it's only to 25 points. You better be the first one to get to 25, win by 2, whatever it might be. But I just liked the freeze because it made it more exciting, and a team could come back. Whereas now, once somebody gets to 24, if there is a 3 to 4 to 5 point deficit, they're very likely not coming back. I guess it would make it really special when it does happen, because someone will do it, but
well,
hasn't happened yet.
I think that poses our first question for you guys out there, which is, did you like the no freeze this time around, or do you think it would be more exciting with a freeze? Because I must say I can agree with you and also disagree. Although
that's what we do.
Yeah, the funny thing is
see both sides.
I think it'll be entertaining either way because I was certainly entertained this weekend. But I do agree that I think it would have been tighter and maybe more exciting.
Yeah.
If there was a freeze just at 24.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I like that MLP is open to change and they're trying new things.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I've heard a bunch of pros talking about making the pro game a little different than the amateur game by extending the net post out like 1 foot on each side.
Okay.
And making the court a little bigger. Zane Navertil has been talking about this. And I think, wow, that would be cool to kind of open things up. It would take away some ATPs. You can go a little harder. So hopefully they'll be open to maybe trying that. Try a tournament. Who knows?
Right.
But right now, I'm sure the purist of pickleball out there are going, Brian, you're an idiot. There's no chance. But I am an idiot. But
we didn't think the chainsaw serve would be a thing. I mean, anything could be a thing. So we'll see what comes.
Really glad that's gone.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So let's dig into this. I think we're just going to take it day by day.
Okay.
So we will talk about Thursday. There were 2 premier matches on Thursday. The first one was the Columbus Sliders versus the Texas Ranchers. So just to bring you guys back, the Columbus Sliders are Brooke Buckner and Megan Dizon and Connor Garnett and Riley Newman. So pretty solid team on paper. And then the Texas Ranchers are Etta Wright and Tina Pisnick as the ladies, and Pablo Tellez and Christian Alshon as the guys. So walking into this on paper, you're going, who would you say has the top?
Right. I would be looking forward to a good match. That's what I mean. Probably a dream breaker out of that one is what I would anticipate.
Yeah.
But not what happened.
No.
Columbus Sliders had a rough weekend.
That's an understatement. They sucked.
It was not good. And there were a couple extraneous things. Connor Garnett, I believe, had the serve yips. The commentators kept talking about him going for it too much, which, in pickleball these days, the word on the street is you've got to have a big serve. If you're not missing a serve every now and then, then you're not going for it. It's not good. You should expect to miss one every now and then because you're pulling the trigger that hard. I don't think it was that he was going for it. I think he might have had truly the yips.
It almost seemed like he was learning. And he reminded me of a golfer who just changed his swing. And now he's like not comfortable at all. So maybe he's changed something. He's trying something to get it deeper and be more consistent. Who knows? But he was awful.
Right.
I mean, he missed 15 serves in day one. So that's 2 matches, 15. So 8 and 7. I mean, and those are points every time.
Every time. Rally scoring kills you when you miss a serve. I could not imagine what it was like for mostly Riley Newman being his partner. What do you say? How do you pick somebody up from that? And when the expectation is you're a pro pickleball player, you do this for a living, I need you to make your serve. Like, this is a no-brainer. I mean, he knows all that stuff. Connor Garnett's telling himself the same thing. He didn't want to be in that position, but it was to the point where commentators were voicing anxiety watching him. Me as a spectator, I'm like, oh, please, Connor, come on. I'm yelling at the TV. You can do it, buddy.
But I'll tell you, Riley seemed to hold it together pretty well.
He really did.
Because he's not the guy who's going to lift you up typically, and he's the guy who's also going to roll your eyes when you're missing shots you should make.
Right.
And he seemed to be a good teammate. Yeah. So that was, I guess, good.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking as they walk away from this weekend, Columbus is going, oh my God, we have to work with our girls, number one, because they did not seem like they were comfortable together at all. As a matter of fact, it was almost, I think a 4-5 or a solid 5-0 team might have taken a game off of them because they didn't know who was going to cover the middle. They couldn't figure out who was taking what, who's going to be the alpha. And man, it was ugly.
No gelling has happened yet. And of course, Megan Dijon coming off an illness. So there's another extraneous circumstance there. But yeah, we've got some gelling to do. They've got some in the next couple weeks, hopefully some team bonding, maybe an activity out in the woods, whatever it is to gel.
There needs to be some trust falls for sure.
Yeah, sure. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, rough weekend for them.
Yep. So Columbus ended up dropping all 4 games to the Texas Ranchers. They lost the women's doubles. They lost 25-12. Etta and Tina took it to them. Seemed to have control of the game completely the whole time. Pablo and Christian, this was one of their few wins of the weekend. They came through and they took care of Connor and Riley. And to be honest, Riley played awesome. I mean, he really did play up to his. It's just Connor is missing serves. And
you can only do so much with that. Yeah.
When he's doing that, it seemed like he had very little confidence in every other aspect of his game as well. So watching the team, I felt bad for them. I think they will bounce back because I don't see them as a bad team other than their girls are very sus.
Yeah. Yep. The trust falls. They'll get there. It's all right.
So
they'll work it out.
So the second match of the day, they went back to back on Thursday. They had New York Hustlers versus Columbus. New York Hustlers are the Jack Sock and CJ Klinger, Leah Jansen and Jackie Kawamoto. And then again, the Columbus Sliders, Brooke, Megan, Riley, and Connor. This was a much tighter match.
Yes.
And that is to me because Jack Sock is not quite ready to be the alpha, it seemed like. I mean, he played well, but at the same time, I just don't feel like he has the experience to take over and win matches like an Anna Bright did. And we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love Anna Bright. But I liked Jack Sock's debut in MLP. Like I was impressed with him. Like you're maybe not the alpha. He's not what we know he can be. I guess the potential is still yet to be reached there. He's going to be he's great. He will continue to get better and it's going to be exciting to watch him. I really enjoyed his debut though.
Yeah. Well,
and I think he's a great partner to CJ Klinger, a young guy on the tour. I thought that their chemistry, their vibe was really good.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It wasn't that they were fully gelled, but the vibe was good. And I think that's because CJ really played well. He's like, dude, awesome. I belong here. No problems. Yeah. And they were definitely trying to pick on him. He saw a lot more balls, but at the same time, he handled it really well.
There's a few people that consistently shine in MLP. CJ Klinger is one of them.
Yeah,
Hayden Patrick's another.
It's a boss.
Anna Bright's another. Yeah, there's just a few people where this is like, they're feeling it.
Yeah.
They love this. And it's cool to watch them. And
so that match actually it was 3-2. So New York did take down the match. That was their one win of the entire weekend, which is right because, like I said, Columbus played really poorly, and they ended up winning in a Dream Breaker 21-16. Now, I didn't get to see that Dream Breaker, but I saw parts of it. I lie, and I did. Jack kind of did his thing, but CJ played great too. So kudos to them, at least getting a win out of the weekend.
More to come. We knew, remember when we had our MLP draft recap, we thought that this team, the New York Hustlers, were drafted kind of for the long-term goal. So we knew it might not be the strongest team out the bat, but come the end of the year, I think this will still be a team to look at. Yeah. This is a great team that's going to grow together very well. Well,
they're going to have to. They were one of the bigger spenders, if you remember. And so they spent a lot of money this year to be good. And to have a one match win for the weekend, I'm sure they're not excited about at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So let's flip over to day 2. That would be Friday. So day 2, our first match of the day is the Dallas Flash Pickleball. So they go and change their name right before the event. It should be Dallas Pickleball Club, which I actually like much better than Flash. I'm not sure what happened or why they did that.
I don't know.
Any story there, Christy?
I don't know, but their outfits looked good with the little lightning bolts. So
you like that, huh?
I'm just saying, yeah. And I love that Tyra got Georgia wearing a bow in her hair. I love it.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, little
it's like
details.
The little things that I wouldn't have noticed at all. And this is why Christy is here.
The little things.
So the little bow is going to make you play that much better.
Hey, look good, feel good, play good. So I'm just saying.
So they ended up winning 3-1, did not go to a Dream Breaker. Hurricane Tyra and Georgia are going to be a force this season. They are so good. They bring the power.
Yes.
If you're not getting your drops down in the kitchen, it's going to be really tough to get to the kitchen line on those ladies.
Yeah.
So
no, remember Dallas was one that was one of my favorites when we did the draft review. This Dallas, I've got my eye on them for the whole package there. Interestingly, in this first matchup on Friday morning, the women lost, which is very interesting to Etta and Tina. But I'm one match that they lost. I'm not worried about that.
No, this is another one I watched too. And Etta and Tina actually controlled it, but this was one of their few losses of the entire weekend. So I think that team is excellent. On the other side, Etta and Tina are boss as well. I mean, really, really solid together. But I think that's because Tina Pisnik is showing that she's not only one of the best ladies on the PPA tour, but she's going to bring it at MLP as well. I mean, her style of play is to make balls, to make you hit another shot. And when she gets a ball, she can really light you up. She's got the power there. So,
and I think that they are on the correct sides for them. I like Etta on the left. I like Tina on the right. Like they've got their roles figured out. To me, they've already gelled, and now it's just about maintaining what they've already got and building upon that.
Yeah. Yep. So Augie Gee and JW, they took down Christian and Pablo in this match. And I've got to tell you, as I came into the season, I thought that number one, Christian's game has gotten so good over the past like 6 to 8 months. Pablo has been winning a lot, but he plays with Federico. So it's interesting to see him with someone else. And I thought that they were going to be a formidable team. They had a rough weekend as a group. I don't think they won many matches. I think they won maybe one or two.
I'll have to look over at the team standings.
They were kind of the weak link on the men's side. And Augie Gee and JW took care of business, 25-19 there. Now, on the mixed doubles side, heavy game in game 3. It's 29-27. Hurricane Tyra and Augie ended up winning it over Pablo and Etta.
It's a good one.
Yeah, this is definitely a good one. And then JW and Georgia win against Christian Alshon and Tina Pisnik. And it's almost not fair to have them together because, I mean, they love to play together. They play so great together. And you know them as a mixed duo. They're going to win a lot of matches this year.
Absolutely.
Yep. Anything else to bring to that one?
Nope.
All right. Now let's talk about the Clowns. New Jersey 5 versus the LA Mad Drops. This was, to me, one of my biggest surprises of the weekend in that I think I poo-pooed Annalie's team a little bit. And I just didn't believe that she could carry a team. And boy, am I wrong.
Of course she can carry a team.
Boy, am I wrong.
Of course she can.
Yes. I mean, individually for the weekend, the top 2 players were Anna Bright.
Yep.
And then Annalie Waters.
You got it.
Right? And so they proved their draft position is worthy. And they took over the court. One thing I can say for her is that she knows how to take over the court and make things happen, create points, create offense. So
strategic with place. And again, she's coming in playing the right. All of us would think, okay, Annalie is going to be on the left. She plays on the right. She puts her two-handed backhand right in the middle there where she can smoke it. She can still poach. She can still construct anything she wants from that position. She did so well. And Mari played really well also. She got a good pick in Mari. Mari really demonstrated why she's one of the better players on the PPA tour and why Annalie picked her.
Yeah. Well, she's another player that's on the come up, has been on the rise for the last 6 or 8 months, 6 to 12 months, somewhere in there.
Well, she's been in APP for a while, doing well. Yeah. And this is great.
Yeah. So, so I eat those words and the Clowns might be pretty good this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think about Annalie, about the Clowns. Do you think they have a chance to win it all? Because I still don't think they have that it factor to really win the entire thing.
Well, what's interesting, again, when you go to a player standings, and you can find all of this information on Major League Pickleball on their website, but player standings, of the 40 players that played this weekend, number 40 is Zane Navratil, which doesn't make any sense to me on paper again.
But if you watch some of those matches, he didn't play well.
So he has more. Yeah, there's more in the tank that Zane has. He'll come back. He won't stay there. And you might be wondering, why are there 40 instead of 48? 2 teams sat out this weekend. So of the 8 MLP events for the year, each team will play 5 of the 8.
Yep. And
so
those
this
2
happened
teams
to be,
were the Chicago Slice and the Utah Black Diamonds.
No, so to Seattle Pioneers and Utah
why did
Black
I say Chicago? Oh, that's what Ben played for last year.
Ben played for them last year.
Forgive me. It
but
was
you're
Ben's
right.
team. So
well, Ben wasn't there.
and the reason that I was thinking of Ben and the Slice is that I really, really wanted to see him and Colin in rally scoring. So that was the other thing, is that with rally scoring, it makes everything so tight. And the way that Ben and Colin play, making you beat them, they could be an absolute force in rally scoring. And like, they're going to go out and just make balls, hit the drops, make you dink with them. And then that could be a lot of trouble for teams. The other thing that I saw is as you're watching pro pickleball now, men or women, getting to the kitchen line is super tough now with these new paddles and the new tech.
That's true.
I would say it's 85 to 90% third drives. And I mean, these guys are working it. And then possibly a fifth drive, but mostly fifth drops. And at that point, getting up to the line, if your fifth drop is not good, the paddles are so powerful. They're pushing people all over, but it's creating really fun points to watch.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Yeah.
So interesting.
The pro game is out of control. As I said on prior, if you're not the absolute best player in your area by twofold, you have zero shot to go and play these pros. They're that much better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
But I would say my big kind of surprise of the weekend is that the Mad Drops were bad. They ended up towards the bottom of the standings. I think they went 1-2 or 1-3. I can look that up here.
Well, and again, the player standings of the 40 players that played this weekend, Catherine Parento is ranked 35th. She went 1-5. Oof. That's not a good showing for her.
No.
Again, she'll come back. I mean, I feel like we're talking about the first out of 8 events that are going to go on this year. It's hard to measure, somebody's success based on 1 out of 8. But I mean, it is interesting. I guess that's what we're saying. I'm taking notes. I'm noting things, observing things. Catherine will come back. No question. Yeah,
I would hope so because look, Thomas and Hunter did their job. They won. They took down Zane and Will. Anna Lee and Will won in just a nail biter. I watched this one and it was so tight.
I think that was the highest score we had all weekend, 30-28.
And the reason that they won is that Anna Lee took over. I mean, she really did what she's supposed to do as that top pick. And willed them to the win. And then Zane and Mari just... Zane had a tough weekend. Zane had a tough weekend.
It'll be okay, Zane.
Yep. Now, they did pull it out in the Dream Breaker, and that's how they ended up winning the match 3-2. The Dream Breaker was 21-17, and I think the Clowns are going to be really good in Dream Breakers, just in general. I mean, Zane can play, Anna Lee can play. It's they're a good team.
Yeah.
So the next one, Dallas Flash and the New York Hustlers. The Hustlers got smoked. And this is kind of where I was at in that they need a little time to grow. The Flash are an excellent team. So not a bad team to lose to. Like if you got smoked by the Columbus, that would be bad. Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, 2 of the games were 29-27, 25-23. So those are close matches for the gender doubles there. Mixed, not so close.
But to lose all 4 matches, they had to feel pretty rough going away from it. And that was a big win for Dallas and helped them to get towards the top of the leaderboards. So the St. Louis Shock, they are the story of the weekend.
They really are. I am so hyped for them. Like, that is my team right now. I am so cheering for the St. Louis Shock. Anna Bright is a genius and found this girl, Kate Fahey, as we talked about.
Who is Kate Fahey?
A month ago, that's what we were all saying. Who the heck is this girl? And now we know who she is. She is so solid, consistent, knows her role. Anna Bright found her, saw something she liked, coached her up, told her what to do. You hold your right side. That's all you got to do, girl. And she did it. And it wasn't just with the patient game. She sped some stuff up too. She got in some hand fights as well.
For sure.
The most impressive thing is that all eyes were on her and everybody wanted to see who she was. And she rose to the occasion. She held her own under pressure.
Yeah.
I like Kate Fahey. Go girl.
I mean,
total fan.
It was very impressive because she had to walk into all those matches knowing I'm going to see the majority of the balls, right? I mean, every team's game plan is going to be to hit it to her, see how she handles it, right?
She handled it.
She handled it really well.
Keep handling, girl.
What I will say and what I noticed is 2 things. Anna Bright brings a ferocity to the court when she comes. I mean, if I could pick anyone right now in MLP that I would want on my team, it would be her because her vibe is we are here to win. And she stares people down at the net and she's just like totally takes over and she'll speed up high knowing it's coming back and finish and put it away. Anna Bright MVP. for the weekend.
Absolutely.
And I'm very, very impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. So let's pop down. Last but not least, on Friday were the Fives playing the Hustlers. So these guys got a good bit of matches in this day. And Fives end up taking it 3-2. So another dream breaker for them. Anna Lee wins all of her matches. Typical, right? Doing what she's supposed to do.
She went 6-0 for the weekend.
But Jack and CJ beat Zane and Will. It was a tight game, but that was an impressive win for me. And that CJ really held his own when I was watching it. And,
I agree.
You know, if he can continue to do this, they will be a team we'll be talking about coming into fall.
I think so.
Random question.
Yeah.
What is the actual format for MLP for the whole year? And if any of you guys out there know, because we're going to speculate here, I think, but is this like a 1-year thing? So we're going to have point standings, and then at the year there's going to be a championship. That's what it looks like on the schedule?
So there's going to be playoffs into a championship. So when a team wins, either they go 3-1 or 4-0, they win outright, they get 3 points.
Okay.
When a team wins in a dream breaker, they get 2 points. And if you lose in a dream breaker, you get 1 point. The points are all then accumulated at the end of the year, and then that goes into playoffs. It's
a good nugget.
It's a very good nugget of information. Dave Fleming on MLP this weekend.
Thanks, Dave.
It was in the bottom corner of the TV, so I appreciate it. Also, Michelle McMahon as well. So thank you. So what that means, though, is like when it comes down to a dream breaker, like the difference of that one silly little point, you don't want it to be something nagging you months from now when you're like, I missed the playoffs by 1 point and all we had to do was win that dream breaker. If I could have just pushed a little harder in that mixed match or whatever. So it's going to come down. I mean, there are going to be some heartbreaks, I think, when we get to the playoff time, because people are going to get in by a point or lose by a point. It's just the margin's going to be really small.
So I actually really like that. I didn't realize that just getting to a dream breaker. So you're automatically getting a point.
Correct.
So
big deal to force a dream breaker.
That's right. Versus just getting smoked. Cause so if you go 4-0, you're getting 3 points, they're getting 0.
Correct.
Okay. And same thing if you go 3-1, but if dream breaker, you get at least a point. And okay.
Yep. You win the dream breaker, you get 2. You lose the dream breaker, you get 1.
That's really good.
Yep.
Okay. I learned something. There you go. And if Christy's wrong, please let her know. She's never wrong.
Tell me.
It's always me that's wrong. All right. Let's go to day 3, Saturday. So AZ Drive versus New Jersey Fives. I can't believe it. The AZ Drive were not good this weekend.
They didn't do as well as they could have. We're ironing some things out over there. Men's team, I think, is really strong.
Yeah.
Women might need, they're not the strongest women's team out there, but it's still early. Again, another team I think we can watch and see them do something different in future MLP events.
Yeah, no, and I would agree. I think that the guys are solid, but this is a team that I thought that the guys were so solid that they would be able to kind of will their team to victory in the mixed side. I once had a very smart man named Steve Rose, who's a senior pro out of Florida. He told me in mixed, 9 times out of 10, whoever has the better girl is going to win. And I really believe that. I think I've seen it through and through, that if the guy feels like he has to do too much, which I saw a lot of this weekend, they make dumb decisions, forced errors, unforced errors. And so the ladies are quite important.
I go back and forth on this. If you ask me on different days, I might give you different answers, which I apologize for. But there are days where I'm like, it's the girl that's more valuable. And then other days I'm like, I think it's the guy. Like the guy's got to put more pressure out there. Like I've been in mixed matches where I'm like, I feel a lot of pressure and I'm like, hey man, like, can you do the same? Like, can you put some pressure on that one over there?
It's
and then I've played with some guys who do really well at that.
Yeah, and I think I would agree with you that in mixed, for the most part, the guy has to create. You've got to put pressure, and if you don't put pressure, then it's pretty easy. But if your girl's not solid, she's very easy to pick on, and that's what's going to happen.
So what we're saying is they both matter.
They both, yes. All genders matter.
It means play well.
That's right. I love it. So AZ Drive ended up dropping that. They did get a point because it went to a dream breaker. And again, the Fives win in a dream breaker. So I guess the good news for the other teams is there's a lot of dream breakers on the 5 side. Yeah. So they're not getting the full 3 points each time. But they are willing themselves to victory. They're a solid dream breaker team. They've already won 2 this weekend. And so let's pop on. How about AZ Drive plays the Doo-Doo Columbus Sliders?
Yeah.
So that's I'm going to refer to them as that moving forward until they prove me wrong, because I think that's one of the worst teams all the way through this year. Yeah. After watching them play, their girls
they're going to get it together. Don't worry.
Your optimism.
Glass is half full.
I don't know. Yeah. We will see. Lacey Schneeman and Caitlin Christian are the ladies on the AZ Drive. Dylan Frazier and Andre Daskew are the guys there. And Lacey and Caitlin did struggle a bit through the weekend, and that was kind of the downfall of the drive. But they did take down Buckner and Dizon. Buckner and Dizon, I don't think, won a game all weekend.
They won 1.
Oh, against DC.
DC Pickleball
That's
team.
right.
Yep.
And that's another, I'm going to get real mad when we talk about that. Because that whole match infuriates me.
It's coming up.
So they took it down. Connor and Riley actually beat Dylan and Andre. I watched that match. I could not believe it.
I couldn't believe it either.
It was all Riley. Yeah. All Riley. I mean, he literally was just speeding up stupid everything. And he's like, beat my hands. He says, beat my hands. And they couldn't. So good on Riley. It's a good question, or a question that I've had, and I hope it's a good question, is that because Riley hasn't played PPA or much pickleball this year, I was wondering what he was going to look like, if things were going to seem quick to him. But it seems like he is the same guy. I mean, he was solid.
He's fine. Yep. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. And then Caitlin and Andre Daskew took down Connor and Brooke 25-20. And then Schneeman and Dylan took down Megan and Riley 25-21. So AZ got a match win there against Columbus. And I would have liked to say that Columbus did not win a match this weekend, but just wait, we're getting to it. All right, so the next match, there are a bunch on Saturday. The St. Louis Shock played the Mad Drops.
Award for Best Dream Breaker. I'm just saying.
Okay. Tell me about it, please.
Best Dream Breaker. So Anna Bright and Catherine Parento were paired up against each other. And I think they went 2-2 the first round. The second time they faced each other, Catherine Parento took all 4 points. And so going into the final time that they were across from each other, which of course involved game point.
Yes.
Catherine had the ball on her paddle. She had game point on her paddle. And I was just cringing watching the TV because I was an Anna Bright fan all weekend. I was cheering for her because she is just electric. And I'm thinking, oh, come on, Anna. Like the last time they met just a few minutes ago, it didn't go well. Come on, girl. And Anna Bright ended up pulling it out. She not only held off game point, but she was able to then score the final 2 to be able to secure the win for them. And it was just electric. It was so cool. Best Dream Breaker. Go back and watch that one. You can find it on YouTube.
It's a good nugget. And if you didn't watch a lot of these matches, I would say go back and watch it in general. I just find that the MLP format is so fun to watch. And you can literally watch a full match in an hour and 15 minutes or so.
Yep.
So it's not too much of a time commitment.
Yeah. It's a good one.
The other big story, I think, of the weekend is Big H and Mr. Tardillo.
They played so well together that, like you said, this is a pairing we need to see more of.
Absolutely. And I mean, these guys are playing my favorite style of pickleball, and that they are just lighting people up. Driving
fastest hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like crazy speed ups.
And don't forget the finger wag at the end.
And Hayden, for being 5'5", his ego is 6'8". Dude is legit.
Yes.
And he's proven it over and over again. It's like you wonder if a guy that small can really hold his own with all these guys who are 6 foot plus playing in the top 10. And he's so fast.
Well, he's playing with Gabe Tardillo, who is at least 6 inches, if not more, taller than him.
For sure.
But they put Hayden on the left.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a reason for it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, Hayden's short, but he is just fine.
Yes. And he's lightning fast. His hands are awesome. And his offense creation is just top tier. And if he were standing in front of me, I would be terrified because I'd know the ball's going to be in my chest somewhere at some point.
It's coming.
Yeah. So those boys took care of business. And, the Shock ended up beating the Mad Drops because Parento played horrifically. And also, I got to be honest, I didn't think Thomas Wilson really played quite well in many of his matches as well. He didn't play to the level. And I think it's a gelling thing with that team. I really do.
He's somebody who sticks, he finds a partner and sticks with them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been with Vivian, over a year now. I mean, he's not used to playing with different people, I would say. I mean, he's mixed it up a little bit on the men's side, but he'll gel.
Hunter played really well. That was the
great.
thing. He really, I mean, I know a lot of people poo-poo him, but he belongs. He played great.
He played great.
And, I think that as they gel as a team coming into the fall, we'll be talking about them on the winners bracket side a little more.
I think so, yeah.
But at this point, they had a tough weekend as well. And they did end up taking that to a dream breaker. So they got a point out of it. So that was good for them. So the Shock end up winning 3-2, and they won in a dream breaker 23-21. So it's super tight.
Yep.
And that's kind of the theme of this weekend is like, it seemed like everything was super tight. And with these random pairings and these odd matchups, it is just so awesome to watch pickleball and be on the edge of your seat and not have a clue of what's going to happen at the beginning.
I agree.
Because that's kind of my beef with the PPA is that you have teams that have played together for a long time and they're going to make deep runs over and over and again.
Yeah.
But when you see all this randomness, it creates fun.
It does. And it actually puts a positive light on this auction that they did for the draft, because I was thinking with the snake draft, at least it'll be fair. Like it's going to be an even distribution of skill level across the board. With this auction that they did with the $50,000 that they had to spend, and then potentially an additional $50,000 if the team wanted to spend extra, I thought it was going to be lopsided. Okay. I was thinking that there's like teams that are going to be stacked and then others that have less skill. And granted, 2 teams sat out. So that's one factor. Again, we know we're at the beginning of this long season. That's another factor. But I thought the skills, it was pretty evenly matched, which I liked.
No, and I would agree. And I think that's a really good point, and that the auction draft is the way to go. And hopefully they'll do that when they add the new players in each season as well. Because, in the end, we've poo-pooed some teams, one of which we did not get to see play this weekend. And I'm still super psyched. Oh, but by the way, Ben's team, because they didn't play, and the Utah Black Diamonds, our girl Alex Trong, we're going to see a whole lot of them here in DC.
Yeah.
So there is a MLP coming up in about a month. I believe it's the first weekend in June.
I think 13th, 14th.
Yep. So second weekend maybe then.
Yep. I've already bought my tickets.
Oh, I've got to get my tickets because we're going to be going. But I wanted to throw it out to you guys to DM me and let me know if you want to go as a big group. So you can find me on Instagram, and that's at the Pickle Pulse. I'll put it right here for you. I'll also put like a little link in the thing if I can figure out how to do it. I'm not technically savvy like a lot of people out there, but I'll attempt to do it. And it would be really fun to show up big and just get really loud for our favorite teams, because we've got to root DC on and get them to the top of the standings. They actually had a good weekend in that I think they're ranked number 3, but we'll get to kind of the overall standings there. I digress. All right. Now, the worst match of the whole weekend. It's just like, what is going on? And I'm going to put this to the team was just not prepared yet. This was their first match that they played. DC Pickleball ends up losing to the Columbus Sliders and giving them their only match win of the weekend. And they didn't even take it to a dream breaker. It was just horrific play.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you watch any of this?
Our friends. Yes, I did watch some of it. I think the biggest surprise for me is that Rachel and James didn't walk away with the win. I've heard that they have played together before, just because they're tight with Anna, of course. You know, James is dating her and Rachel plays with her. So Rachel is in that crowd a lot, and they've played together frequently because of that. Yeah. So they're a team that I didn't think would need any gelling and would be coming in hot off the bat. So I was shocked to see that they lost. Yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway, though, is that the girls, again, they just seem like they struggled together. I think that Rohrbacher has always played that right side role with Anna since she's been playing premier level pickleball. And now we're asking her to go left side to be that alpha. With Elise, who is scrappy and really fun to watch, but to create offense, it just seemed like Elise was really struggling. And putting the ball away seemed really difficult for her as well. Yeah. And so Rachel, in my humble opinion, I think felt like she had to take over and create, and it created.
She does, yeah.
Yeah, it created some sloppy points. Yeah. So unfortunately, the first match of the day was very poor, and we gave the shittiest team a W. Come on, DC. We love you. You got to do better than that. So moving on from that one, the next one's Orlando Squeeze. And I was really interested to see how they were going to be, because if you remember, they acquired Tyson McGuffin after he threw a hissy fit and said he wasn't going to play with Tyler Lung on Utah Black Diamonds. So Tyson ended up getting traded to Orlando, and it looked like on paper that they were stacked. Yeah. Right? And on the men's side, you've got Federico and Tyson's. And then on the women's side, you've got Paris Todd and Vivian David. To me, I'd go, those are formidable teams.
Right. On paper, they shouldn't be losing. Not much, at least.
But the Shock come and they smack them. Yeah. 3-1. No dream breaker. Hayden and Gabe ripped through Tyson and Fetty. And basically, if you cannot handle the shake and bake, you're cooked. And they were handling it pretty good, but at the same time, when it's constantly coming, I have to imagine it just wears on you.
Like you can't catch a breath.
Yeah, exactly right. And then Paris and Vivian's first time playing together, they didn't look very good. They ended up losing 25-15, which I think is one of the worst losses of the weekend. So very, very surprising. They actually dropped the first 3 games, and then Vivian and Tyson won the 4th and took down Kate Fahey and Gabriel, which I think that mixed matchup is going to be the one that's going to be the tough one for them. Tardio is a fantastic men's player, but he hasn't really proven himself in mixed very much. And he's going to play with Kate most of the time, so he really has to create.
He does.
Yep. Cool. So the last match of the day on Saturday is DC Pickleball Team, Arizona Drive. Let's go, DC. They showed up this time.
They came out. Yep.
Again, like our girls pulled it together. They took down Schneeman and Caitlin Christian. By the way, what do you know about Caitlin Christian? She's kind of a newer name on the scene right now.
She is. I understand her to be more of a singles player. I think she's made more of a splash there, I should say, at least, in singles than in doubles. I don't know much else about her tennis background.
Yep.
Like
I think she's super high level tennis.
Yep. Like the rest of them. So I'm curious to see how this goes for her, being more of a doubles format, of course. I think she'll hold her own in Dream Breakers for sure.
Yeah.
But curious how she and Lacey and Caitlin and her mixed partner do.
Yeah. Well, I don't see Lacey as the alpha, and she's having to play the left there. So I think the AZ Drive have to figure out what is going to happen with those ladies. Otherwise, they're going to be starting off 0-1 a lot, or 1-1,
right.
Putting them out there for genders, because they just didn't seem to gel. They didn't have it. And there's not enough offense to compete with some of these other ladies teams that are just powerhouse. So kind of see where it goes from there. But I will tell you that our DC Pickleball team smacked them 4-0. All right. Deckelbar and James got their first W against Dylan and Andre. I could not believe it. I think that was probably, to me, their hardest matchup that they're going to see, other than Ben and Colin out there. And maybe we put Hayden and Gabe in there now too, because they're scary.
They are.
But they ended up taking it down and pretty, I would say, what is the word I'm looking for? They took it down.
Dominating.
Yeah, there you go. And so 25-18. Declan and Elise won over Dylan and Lacey, 25-22. And James and Rachel got their first W against Diascu and Caitlin Christian. Is AZ, you think they're shaking a little bit after this? Are they worried about their girls? Because I am.
Yeah, I'm worried about them too. Not one of the stronger teams.
No.
Yeah.
No, and they went really big with the guys. I mean, they took 2 first rounders, or a first and a top second, and then really picked up their girls at the end. So that might bite them. It's really, if you can't win mixed, and this is when I was talking to Josh Gartman, if you haven't seen that, you need to go watch. Not many people have seen it. Josh Gartman is smart dude, and he was really fun to talk to, but he was talking about the mixed teams that do the best are who win MLP. So you have to put together quality mixed pairings.
Makes sense.
Out there. And AZ is going to struggle. All right. So let's flip over to Sunday, our final day. So we've talked about most of the teams on here now, and I can rip through. But is there a match that really jumps out at you here from Sunday that you want to talk about first?
So I would actually say one of the matches that I was most excited to watch was DC Pickleball team against the St. Louis Shock, because you've got Anna Bright against James Ignatowicz and Anna Bright against Rachel Rohrbacher. So that was one of the ones that I was looking forward to the most. And I was cheering for Anna the whole time, again, because she's just got this magnetic quality about her in general, but like on MLP weekends, like this girl she thrives here. So it's not that I don't cheer for her otherwise. It's just that I really cheer for her with MLP weekends. And I wanted her to pull this one out. She ended up losing it, or the Shock lost it in the Dream Breaker at the end. So
wait, you wanted her to pull it out against our team, Christy? How dare you? This is blasphemy.
I did, because Anna Bright was playing lights out, and how can you not cheer for her when she's going crazy like she is? So, yes. But she ended up, her team lost in the Dream Breaker 21-17, which I imagine was a heartbreaker for her. But it was such good matches. I mean, you look at the scores, 25-22, 26-24, 26-24, 25-22. I mean,
it was all tight.
It was, yes.
I watched this whole match and it was super entertaining. Yeah. What I found very interesting is I don't know who got to choose the matchups for mixed, but I did notice that James did not play Anna in mixed.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they threw out their team and James said, look, I'm not playing Anna, or it was going to be that way anyway. But to not have those match up, I was a little disappointed and kind of see it. The last time that they played against each other, I'm pretty sure was when James beat her. And the time, I think 3 or 4 times before that, she had taken down James over and over and over again. So wanted to see it, didn't get to see it. Happy DC got the win though. In the end. The Mad Drops did get their one win of the weekend, I believe. And they went to a Dream Breaker against Dallas Flash. And then the New York Hustlers lost to the Orlando Squeeze and gave them a win. All right. So in the end, it was a very, very entertaining weekend of pickleball. And I want to go through just kind of the team standings a little bit here at the end.
Got it.
So number 1 for the weekend, St. Louis Shock.
Yep.
As we said, MVP Anna Bright played lights out. She really just controlled the points and the flow for her team. Very impressed with her. DC Pickleball is 3-1. So after having a horrific loss, come on guys, they did pull it out and beat a bunch of really good teams. So that gives me great hope for that team, and that I think that as they gel and come together, they have a really good shot at a championship this year.
I agree.
Dallas Flash played really well. That wasn't a team that I was super high on. You were, so you called it, and I think they're going to be really good.
Yep.
Just the teams that there's some teams in the middle, the Ranchers, the Fives, the Mad Drops, where they went 1-2, or the New Jersey Fives went 3-0.
They went 3-0, and the only reason they're 5th with a 3-0 record, I mean, they went undefeated, is because of the point standings. They earned 6 points this weekend, so of course that's lower than some other teams that had 8, 7. So that's not an accurate reflection necessarily. That's going to be something that we see bump up.
Yep, but they went 3-0 with 2 Dream Breakers, and again, so they are going to be a tough Dream Breaker team to beat, and they're showing that, and I like it. The New York Hustlers went 1-3. The Orlando Squeeze went 1-2, and the AZ Drive it went 1-3. So yeah, the AZ Drive, all of those teams I really thought were going to be better, and I think that's what's going to make MLP just so much fun to watch this season. Is that everything's going to be tight. You never know who's going to show up each weekend. Like my big question right now is Kate Fahey going to continue to do what she did? Did she have like a dream scenario?
No, she's going to continue to do this every weekend, because this is the weekend where her nerves would have shown. This, I mean, I would have been shaking with my paddle out there with Anna Bright next to me and the whole crowd looking at me, not knowing who I am. And this is my one chance to prove myself, my one chance to make a first impression. She's going to be just fine. She's going to keep doing it day in and day out the rest of the season. No doubt.
You heard it first. Christy believes
I will go so far as to say St. Louis Shock is definitely in the finals.
Whoa.
If not winning this whole thing.
Wow.
If I had to pick my top two right now, and again, this is without seeing the Seattle Pioneers, without seeing the Utah Black Diamonds, I think it would be St. Louis Shock versus DC Pickleball team, which I will love just because of, again, Anna going against James, Anna going against Rachel, and I will cheer for Anna the whole way. And Kate Fahey, who I want to be like when I grow up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I never would have called that because, look, I thought that Gabe and Hayden were going to be an interesting duo to watch, but they are a formidable force. And to have Anna Bright there just scaring the shit out of everybody with her just crazy ferocity. I mean, she really was like staring people, flexing it. Just her celebrations are like, I got you. I own you.
Yeah, absolutely. Who would you say if you had to predict now? What two teams are going to the championship?
You can't count out Annalie Waters. You just can't. So I would say that she is going to be in the mix. I also believe that DC Pickleball team is going to be one of the top teams because their two guys are just that good. I mean, you've got Deckel, you've got James. You got to put Anna in there because of her ferocity. So the top three, the team that I think is going to have a big bounce back is
Orlando.
No, Thomas Wilson's team.
Oh, Mad Drops.
Yes, the Mad Drops. I feel like they had a terrible weekend for no real reason. And so I still think they have a good shot. They just need to start winning some matches.
Yeah. I could see Mad Drops come back. I could see Orlando Squeeze come back. Again, I'm saying come back like where our backs are against the wall. We've got a whole season that's coming.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's exactly right.
There's much more pickleball to play and a lot more to watch and see and analyze and talk about. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I love it. Well, Christy, it was fun breaking this down for you.
Yeah, it was fun.
And I will tell you guys out there that, again, we're going to go to the DC MLP. Please join me. Find me on Instagram. Let's create a big group. We'll meet out there. We'll march in. We'll get loud. We'll root for DC. We'll have Christy sit somewhere else since she's not rooting for DC.
When they're playing St. Louis, I am cheering for Anna and Kate.
OMG. Earmuffs. Nobody wants to hear that. Well, if you made it this far, guys, I really appreciate it. I will say that there are 2,000 to 3,000 of you out there who are consistently coming in and watching this pod, and I appreciate each and every one of you. But only 500 of you have hit that subscribe button. Is it me? Is it Christy? What do I got to do? So, guys, take a moment, hit the subscribe button. You'll get a little bit more of this week in and week out. We'll do some cool paddle reviews. I think in the future, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have some PPA breakdowns. We're going to talk about the mental side of the game, and then I'm going to have some paddle nerds in, and we are going to geek out on these Gen 3 paddles because it's changing the game. And I want to know whether the guys that I bring in, guys and girls, are liking the direction the game is going. Did they think these things should be a paddle or should be completely illegal? I mean, the funny thing is there is a rule in the rule book, and I digress, that says that you cannot have a trampoline effect on your paddle. And Eula is advertising their trampoline effect on their paddle. Is there like a $1 million handshake going over? I don't know. How do you do this? And I feel like that it needs to be addressed, but everyone's just pretending like it's not there.
We're all okay with it.
Yeah. It's like we like the paddles that much.
Yeah, it's a good paddle.
I mean, yeah, well, they're starting to fall apart. Well, again, guys, thanks for hanging. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see ya. Bye.